Lawmakers today began their three-day cram session to hear, vote, and approve new congressional maps that could be presented to voters in a special election this fall.
All right, so this effort is to send more Democrats to Washington, D.C., and it's all in response to what's happening in Texas, where President Trump has asked lawmakers there to do the same, but for Republicans.
California lawmakers keep promising this will be the most transparent process in the nation. That's what they keep saying, but today they struggled to answer a basic question in all of this.
Very basic question. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joins us now with what she repeatedly asked today.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't clear. That basic question is who exactly is responsible for these maps. In that special election, who can California voters look to specifically when they want to know who put these new congressional districts together? It really was not clear in any of the hearings today. Both the state Senate and Assembly Elections Committees had a lengthy discussion on the redistricting push overall. A reminder that this is happening as California already has an independent redistricting commission that is responsible for doing this work after the census. California voters took the power away from politicians nearly 2 decades ago because they didn't like that lawmakers were drawing districts for themselves. So with that, I asked both the Democratic leaders of each elections committee, who is responsible for drawing these new proposed congressional districts?
Governor Gavin Newsom promised that no special interests or this would be transparent. This would not be done in a back room. So we're trying to ascertain in this very short amount of time that you have to deliberate this, who exactly are the maps responsible for?
There's happening very quickly, and the folks that were drawing the maps went back to the Independent Redistricting Commission's testimony and what they heard during their time when they were deliberating this, and they themselves ran out of time to do the work that they needed to do. And so we're basing these on the Voting Rights Act, and we're looking at really bringing the voters into this process, and that's why we're going to an election on November 4th, because at the end of the day, the voters' voice is what matters.
And we're asking because voters back in 2008 and 2010 took the power away from politicians to draw maps because they did not like that it was an incumbent protection plan. So we just need to know. I mean, that's why we're asking.
These are definitely unusual times. We are no longer governing in a democracy. We're governing in an authoritarian government. We are seeing things that we care so deeply about in California. We have education, food for children, our immigrant community, our LGBT community. They are getting decimated by this administration. This is an all-out assault on California's democracy and the rights and values. So we have to move quickly, but we are bringing the voters on to this process. We're letting them know the maps have been posted on the website. We have this election on November 4th, and at the end of the day, the voters will decide what is important to them and whether they want to adjust these maps to give California the voice it needs in Congress.
Madam Chair, can you say whether or not state lawmakers involved in drawing the maps? Any state lawmakers at all?
Not to my knowledge.
But who adjusted them last night at 8 p.m.?
It was my understanding that they were by 8 a.m. They were out there.
No, there's an adjustment.
There was a collaboration, but we can get to the people that actually did that work.
So then why does the legislation say the detailed maps are prepared by the Assembly and State Senate elections committees?
So the reality is that it was a collaboration, and we can get those specifics, but I think what's most important is the maps are out there for people to see, to evaluate, to make a judgment on. The lines are the lines.
Madam Chair, but when you consume something, don't you want to know who makes it? When you are presented with something, don't you want to know where it's coming from? Don't voters deserve to know?
When I go to a restaurant, I don't need to meet the chef.
So did this committee meet then to draw the lines? I mean, we're just trying to ascertain who exactly is responsible for drawing these maps at this point.
So the criteria has remained the same from the CRC. 76% of the districts remain the same, and that is what Californians will see. There are many folks, stakeholders, who have had an input on the map drawing process, but ultimately this is up to the decision of California voters, whereas the CRC, which we respect, we want to make sure that there's a nationwide Citizens Redistricting Commission, but the reality is we are in an emergency, and this is our emergency response. We're giving Californians over 2.5 months to review these maps thoroughly and make a decision on whether or not we move forward with this constitutional amendment.
But is the State Senate Elections Committee redrew these maps? Like, you're ready to say that too?
The Senate Rules Committee put these maps, the census tracks, onto the website.
So legislators drew the maps. Can we say that to our viewers?
Again, this was from CRC's criteria. Millions of
Right. We need to know create the maps. Was it Paul Mitchell and Paul Mitchell strategies?
It was input again from testimony. It was
Who drew the map?
It was testimony that was given to the CRC.
By whom?
We're remaining consistent, making sure we're keeping communities of interest together.
Don't they deserve to know who drew these maps?
Again, this is the most transparent process in the nation.
So then who drew the maps?
This is the most transparent process.
If you're not interested in answering, can we ask a few other questions? Sure. Not yet.
So the two women you just saw there, again, they are the leaders of the legislature's elections committees. Neither would really tell us who is responsible for these maps. The Speaker's office also keeps reiterating that this is a collaboration, but again, not giving specifics. As you heard in part of those exchanges, the maps were tweaked slightly between Friday and Monday, but no one still at this hour will tell us who exactly made those changes.
Or why they made them.
Or why they made the changes.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel, they keep saying that this is the most transparent, but they're just not answering a very simple question that would make it more transparent.
Yeah.
Republicans today asked the California State Supreme Court to get involved in all of this. So what do we know about that?
Right at this point, we are waiting to see if the California Supreme Court tells state lawmakers to slow down on all of this. Republicans are claiming the legislature is violating the state constitution, which requires new proposals like this one to have a 30-day review period before state lawmakers take action on it. With that, they want the court to stop the legislature from taking this up for the next month. They hope to have a ruling from the court tomorrow.
Sometimes when you ask a simple question and the question isn't answered, that then becomes the headline.
Right, but it does. And I would say, because, I mean, we're pressing because we have 3 days to figure this out. And California voters, yes, they will have months to review the maps. There's still this process, though, where we can figure out what those maps look like before they hit the ballot.
And if you use the word transparency, we need to make sure it's transparent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe don't use that word. And Gail mentioned that she doesn't want to meet the chef of a restaurant, but a lot of people do, and I bet you a lot of chefs would argue. A lot of people asked to come meet us. One could argue that the majority of people would actually like to meet the chef who was preparing.
Yeah,
their food.
and another journalist in that scrum did note, Madam Chair, this is not the same situation.
Right.
So there's that.
All right. Thank you. And you can stay updated on the state's redistricting push by downloading the KCRA 3 app or going online to kcra.com.